Good morning, student. I Purnima welcome you to my class. And student, we are going to do the lesson The Happy Prince, which is chapter number 5 of your supplementary reader. So, this story is written by Oscar Wilde, a very famous writer. So, who is the writer? Oscar Wilde. Now, I've on the previous video, I've already told you about the writer, and today I will be giving you the short introduction, and I will revise all the important point of the lesson, and then we will start doing. So, The Happy Prince, written by Oscar Wilde. Okay, it touches the softest corner of our hearts. A prince who remains happy in his palace when he is alive but feels sorrowful after death. His statue is placed in the center of the city. He is a kind natured, so he wants to help the poor and the needy. Oscar Wilde's other story, The Selfish Giant, is also very interesting, and so it is worth reading. Now, I will tell you all the important points of the story. First, my first point is a statue of a prince. So, a statue of a prince stood in the city center. It was covered with golden leaves. Two sapphire fitted in his eyes. Sapphire is expensive stone which is children is of blue color, and his eyes were made of expensive sapphire, and a ruby in his sword hilt. Ruby again is a red color stone. The prince looked around and found the poor miserable condition. He wanted to, so when he looked, he was very happy when he was alive, he was living in a palace. The sorrow did not reach that palace, but when he died, his statue was made with the golden layers with the gold layers, with the beautiful sapphire eyes and a nice ruby hilt on his sword, and that story was placed in the middle of the city. From there he could observe all the misery and the sorrow of his city and children. He felt very sad. He wanted to help them, but he was very helpless. Now, my second point. So swallow is a small bird which soar very high, which fly very high. So a swallow was there. Okay. Swallow was there, and it came from the place which was outside the city where Happy Prince was living. And children, he has to go to Egypt because all his friends were waiting. So when he came to the city, it was night and he needs a rest also. He thought he will take rest there, and he will go from there to in the morning he will go to Egypt to meet his friend. So children, he had found the place to take rest, and that place, children, was under the statue of the Happy Prince. Between his leg he sat. So one night a swallow happened to rest at the prince's feet, and children, at that time prince was seeing the misery of the city, was very sad, and all his tears were falling on him. Surprised on looking above, he found that tears were coming from prince's eyes. At first he thought raining, he looked here and there, but when he saw the snow cloud, it was again, he started feeling very strange. He thought, okay, this is the place. He thought that why it is raining without a cloud. When he again, children, the tears fell Again he looked above on the sky and he found that there was no cloud. And children, again when third time the tears fell on his body, again he looked up. And what did he see? He saw that the tears were flowing from the prince's eyes. He was crying. The Salo was going to Egypt to meet his friend, but on prince's request he stayed there. Now children, he asked the prince why he was crying. The prince told that he was crying because he can see the misery of his city. He wanted to help them, but he was very helpless. So he did not see. He asked Salo to stay with him for one day and help the poor and needy person, and next day he can go to Egypt. Now children, I already told you the Sole was going to meet his friend in Egypt. Okay, but when the prince requested him, he was a very nice and generous Solo. He stayed there. Now the prince asked him to take out the ruby from his sword hilt and go to an old seamstress. She needed money. Her son was ill. He wanted oranges, but his mother could not afford. Ruby to seamstress and sapphire to the playwright. The Salo flew to her, placed the ruby on the table, fanned the sick son off, and flew back to the prince. The Salo flew to her, placed the ruby on the table, fanned the sick son off, and flew back to the prince. Now children, when he saw that a child was very ill and the mother was so poor, she was not having any money to buy medicines and some good food for her child, and she was doing hard work. She was seamstress. What is seamstress? The lady who stitch the clothes and do the embroidery on the clothes. So children, when the prince saw him, he was very sad. He told the Salo to Ruby to seamstress and sapphire to the playwright. Now children, he told to give Ruby to the seamstress. The Salo flew to her, laid the ruby on the table, fanned the sick son off, and flew back to the prince. The Salo flew to her, placed the ruby on his table, fanned the sick son off from his wing, and then flew back to the prince. The next night, the prince requested the Salo to pick out one sapphire from his one eyes and take it to the playwright, who was unable to complete his play because of too much cold. The Salo flew to the playwright and placed the sapphire on the withered violets. The playwright's eyes fell on the sapphire. He was happy and he would be able to complete his play. The Salo flew back. Now children, the next thing, when he saw, the prince saw that a playwright is there and he is living upstairs where it is too hot and he is not having any money to buy even his food. So he asked from the Salo to give him his sapphire. Now at first the Salo did not want to have sapphire because he knew the prince will get blind, but the prince requested him to help him. So what did the Salo do? Okay, now I can write the point here. Sapphire to the playwright. So he has given those sapphire to the playwright. Well, anyway, children, the Salo flew to the playwright and placed the sapphire on the table. The Salo went there. He was sleeping, and there was withered violets on the table, and he put the sapphire on the right eyes. The playwright eyes fell on the sapphire. He was happy that he would be able to complete his play. The Salo flew back. and the sapphire to the match girl. Now children, the Salo wanted to flee, but the prince requested him to stay for one more day. And this time, children, he helped a Salo. He helped he helped a girl who was very poor, and she used to sell matchstick. Okay, so he gave another sapphire to the match girl, and the sapphire to the match girl. The happy prince thanked him and requested again to go to the square below where a little match girl was standing. Her matches had fallen in the gutter. She was crying. Her father would beat her for not bringing money. He asked the Salo to take another sapphire from his second eyes and fly to the match girl to give to her. At first, the Salo did not want that the prince should get blind, but when he requested to the Salo, so finally he agreed, and he had given that children sapphire to the girl, and whose matches had fallen to the gutter. She was crying. Her father would beat her for not bringing money. He asked the Salo to take another sapphire from his second eyes and fly to the match girl to give it to her. The Salo flew to her, placed the jewel in her palm, and come back. The girl was happy. She ran to her house to show that jewel to her father. Now, gold sheets to the poor. Gold sheet to the poor. Now the Salo decided not to go to Egypt. The prince asked him to go, but he refused because prince had become blind and the Salo could not leave him alone. The Salo now went to the city lanes every night, noted the miserable condition of the poor people, and reported the matter to the prince. He asked him to tear off the gold sheet of his body, leaf after leaf, and give it to the poor children so that their hunger was satisfied. The Salo did as the prince had told him to do. Death of a Salo. The little Salo grew older and older, but did not leave the prince. So the next point is now children, the Salo could not go to Egypt as she did not want that she should leave the prince, for he had become blind now. So she did not want to leave the prince because he had become blind. And now children, she decided to live with the prince, not to leave the prince anymore. He knew that he was going to die. So one day children, the Salo, she became old, and the day has come when she realized that she would not be living anymore. She would die soon. So children, she lay at prince's feet. The prince asked him to kiss on his lips. "I love you," he said. The Salo told him that he was going not to Egypt but to the house of death, which was the brother of sleep. So children, she placed the prince on his lips, and the prince wanted to give her thanks, and she wanted to tell her that whatever that Salo has done, he was very grateful to her, and now he can go to Egypt. But the Salo told that, "I love you, and I'm not going to Egypt, but I'm going to the house of death, which was the brother of sleep." That night the Salo fell down dead at his feet. A crack burst in the statue and was cut into two, and we all can guess it was a prince's heart, which had also broken. Demolition of this statue. Now my second last point is demolition of the statue. Okay, demolition of the statue. Next morning, the mayor and the town councillor looked at the statue and ordered for its demolition because of its shabby looks. They saw the dead bird also lying at his feet. Birds should not be allowed to die there, town clerk said. Okay, and he had thrown that bird, and he told to take out the statue of the happy prince and throw it. Now children, the heart was not melting, and that what heart was thrown where the dead bird was lying, both in heaven. Now children, both in heaven. The statue was pulled down. He could neither be melted nor broken, so it was thrown on a dust heap where the dead fellow was also lying. The writer wanted to show that both remained together even after death. God sent his angel one day to bring the two most precious things from that city. So the angel told, okay, he went and he picked up two things, that was little bird and the heart of the happy prince. Okay, and children, finally the God told, you have done the right thing. These are the two things which can be given place in the heaven, the little bird and the happy prince. The God said, send them to heaven, and now they were living together. So children, this is the main points of the story, and now I'm going to read the story. We have already started the lesson, but once again I will be reading it. The Happy Prince. Okay. The Happy Prince was a beautiful statue. He was covered with gold. He had sapphire for eyes and a ruby in his sword. Why did he want to part with all the gold that he had said and his precious stone? So children, we are here at chapter number 5 of your supplementary reader, The Happy Prince. And now I am going to read the lesson. High above the city, on a tall column, stood the statue of the Happy Prince. He was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold. Okay, gilded means to cover. What is the meaning of gilded? To cover. So his whole body was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold. For eyes he had two bright sapphire, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword head. And children, his large red ruby glowed on his sword head. One night there flew over the city a little swallow. His friend had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind. Then he decided to go to Egypt too. So one night there flew over the city a little swallow. His friend had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind. And then finally that swallow wanted to come to the Egypt. All day long he flew, and at night time he arrived at the city. So whole night he flew, and at night time he arrived at the city. Where shall I put up? He said. I hope the town has made preparation. Now he is still, where should I go? Where should I take rest? Did the town had made preparation? Then he saw the statue on the tall column. I will put up there, he cried. It is a fine position with plenty of fresh air. So he lighted just between the feet of the Happy Prince. Now children, everywhere he looked everywhere, and finally he thought that it is safe to stay at a large column, and where then he saw the statue on the tall column, and he decided he will take rest there only. He cried, it is a fine position with plenty of fresh air. So he lighted just between the feet of the happy prince. I have a golden bedroom, he said softly to himself as he looked around. Now, children, when he looked around, since the prince's body was covered with gold layers, so he looked around and he told that I have a golden bedroom. And he looked around and he prepared to go to sleep. But just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. Now, children, a large drop of water fell on him. Okay, when he was going to sleep on his head. What a curious thing, he cried. There is not a single cloud in the city. The stars are quite clear and bright, and yet it is raining. Now, children, that the Sallow, he looked here and there, and what did he saw? He saw that the stars are quite clear and bright, and yet it is raining. Then another drop fell. So finally, children, and the drop fell. What is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off? Now, children, he knew that what is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off, he said. I must look for a good chimney pot, and he determined to fly away. So, children, I must look for a good chimney pot, and he determined to fly away. But before he had opened his wing, a third drop fell upon him, and he looked up and saw. Oh, what did he see? Now, children, when the third drop fell, again he was surprised, and he started looking here and there, and then suddenly his eyes fell on the prince's eyes, and he thought and he saw that the tears were coming from his eyes. The eyes of the happy prince were filled with tears, and tears were running down his golden cheeks. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little Sallow was filled with pity. Who are you? He said. I am the happy prince. Now he said, who are you? He told, I am the happy prince. Why are you weeping then? Asked the Sallow. You have quite drenched me. When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue, I did not know what tears were, for I lived to the palace where sorrow is not allowed to enter. My courtiers called me the happy prince, and happy indeed I was. So I lived and so I died. And now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see the ugliness all over the misery of and all the misery of my city. Now he asked Swallow that when I was alive, I was very happy. Now I was living at a place where sorrow did not enter, and now here when I stood standing on the pillar in the center of the city, he is telling I can see. Okay, he is telling that I can see all the miseries and the sadness of the city. And he also told that when he was alive, people used to call him Happy Prince. Okay, and when he died, now that I'm dead, they set me right here, and from here I can see the ugliness and all the miseries of my city. And though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but weep. Now he's telling me, though my heart is made up of lead, but here I cannot choose anything but to weep, because children, I can feel the sadness, whatever the emotion is there with the people, I can feel that, and that's why I am crying. What is he not solid gold? Now the Sallow was surprised. He thought that the prince is made of solid gold, but it was only covered with the golden layer. He was too polite to make any personal remark, but the Sallow was so generous, so kind-hearted, but he could not make any remark to him. Far away, continued the statue in a low musical voice. Now the prince is telling that far away in a little street there is a poor house. Now he told that a very far away from here a place is there, and where a very house is there where very poor people live. One of the window is open, and through it I can see a woman seated at a table. So he told that one of the window was open, and I can see that a woman seated at a table. Her face is thin and worn. He told that her she is looking very tired. Her face is thin, and she has coarse red hands all pricked by the needle. So she is seamstress, and children, she is looking very tired. Her whole hand is children pricked with the needle, and she is the seamstress. Okay, what is the meaning of seamstress? Who does the work of tailoring and embroidering, and whole night she wake because she has to get money, collect money for her son. And she is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen maids of honor. And what she is doing, children, she is preparing gown for whom? One of the loveliest maid of the queen. Okay, and she is queen maids of honor, and she is children, her hand has become red, all pricked by the needle, for she is a seamstress. She is embroidering fall flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen maids of honor. So what she is doing right now, she is embroidering a flower for the queen maid. She is queen maids of honor to wear at the next court ball. In a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy is lying ill. He has a fever and is asking his mother to give him oranges. Now, she had a son and he is very ill. She's asking his mother to give him oranges. His mother has nothing to give him but river water. So he is crying, Sallow, Sallow, little Sallow, will you not bring her the ruby out of my sword head? My feet are fastened to this pedestal and I cannot move. Now, what did the Sallow replied? She told, I'm waited for in Egypt. Said the Sallow, my friends are flying up and down the Nile. She told, somebody is waiting for me in the Egypt, and my friends are flying up and down the Nile and talking to the large lotus flower. Soon they will go to sleep and they are waiting for me. The prince asked the Sallow to stay with him for one more night and his messenger. Now, children, the prince told thanks to her, but at the same time that he wanted that the Sallow should stay for one more night so that he can help other. The prince asked the Sallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad. He is telling the boy is thirsty and the mother is sad. The boy is hungry. She is not having anything for him. I don't think I like boys, answered the Sallow. I want to go to Egypt. Now he told he did not like go. He did not like boys and he did not like to serve any boys, and he would like to go to Egypt as his friends were waiting for him. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little Sallow was sorry. It is very cold here, he said, but he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. So he told the Sallow, okay, what did he tell? He told that the Sallow that to stay with him one more night. But the children prince looked so sad that the little Sallow was sorry. Now when the Sallow looked at the prince, he was so sad. She was ready to stay with him. It is very cold here, he said, but he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. Thank you, little Sallow, said the prince. The Sallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword, flew away with it in his beak over to the roof of the town. Now, children, as the Sallow, he felt so sad. So what did he did? Well, he did whatever according to the wish of the prince. He did. He pricked out the ruby from his sword, flew to the city, and wanted to give that ruby to help that poor boy. He passed by the cathedral tower where the white marble angels were sculptured. So, children, what did he did? He went from the sculpture means made with hand. So he flew, and he flew upon the cathedral when he saw that the beautiful statue were made. Okay, where beautiful statues were sculptured on the church. And those were the statue of angels. He passed by the palace and heard the sound of dancing. A beautiful came out in the balcony with her lover. Now, children, then he passed on the palace and he heard the children dancing. He heard the music where the people were dancing, and there that maid of honor for whom that poor lady was waking whole night to complete her gown, he can hear that she is telling to her lover that I hope my dress will be ready in time for the state ball, she said. I have ordered flowers to be embroidered on it, but the seamstress are so lazy. So she is blaming without knowing that what problem seamstress is facing. Rather, she is telling to her lover that that seamstress was very lazy and she could not complete the work on her time. Now children, this the time ends now for this video class, and now I take a leave. I conclude my video here. Thank you and have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.